Have you ever felt like you're constantly running on a treadmill, sweating and striving, but somehow ending up exactly where you started? In a world that screams more at every turn, more success, more possessions, more likes, why does it feel like our souls are running on empty? Imagine for a moment stepping off that treadmill and discovering a path where every step is not about reaching somewhere, but about finding depth, meaning, and joy in the journey itself. This isn't just a dream, it's a way of life that has been embraced by some of the greatest minds in history. Today, we're diving deep into the ancient yet incredibly relevant philosophy of Stoicism, a way of living that teaches us not how to increase what we have, but how to diminish our desires to find true fulfillment. If you've ever wondered how to navigate the chaos of modern life with a calm heart and a clear mind, stay tuned. You're about to discover the timeless secrets that can transform the way you think, feel, and live. Welcome to a journey that promises not just insights, but a revolution of the soul. And hey, while you're embarking on this soulful journey with us, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video, because every click helps, and who knows, by watching till the end without skipping, you might just find the secret to turning your daily grind into a dance with destiny. No fast-forwarding through life's ads, folks. 1. Choose excellence every day. This not about setting a world record every morning before breakfast or transforming into a superhero who can leap over life's problems in a single bound. It's more like embracing the Stoic philosophy in our daily grind, finding greatness in the small, often overlooked decisions we make, from the moment we peel our eyes open to the second we hit the bed at night. Stoicism teaches us that excellence isn't a peak to conquer, but a path to walk daily. It's about choosing the harder right over the easier wrong, even when no one's watching. It's about waking up and deciding to be a little better today than you were yesterday. Not for the applause, not for the likes or the follows, but for the sheer joy of knowing you're fulfilling your potential, bit by bit. Let's break it down stoically. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most respected Roman emperors and a Stoic philosopher, didn't just wake up one day draped in wisdom and virtue. He chose it every day, amidst the chaos of ruling an empire and navigating personal tragedies. His secret? He understood that excellence is a habit, not an act. It's about making conscious choices that align with your values, even when it's tempting to slack off or take the easy road. For us, in the modern world, choosing excellence could mean deciding to spend an hour learning something new instead of mindlessly scrolling through social media. It's choosing to listen actively when a friend speaks, rather than waiting for your turn to talk. It's about showing up for your morning run, even when the bed feels too comfortable and the air outside too cold. In Stoicism, there's this concept of focusing on what's within our control and letting go of what isn't. Excellence is entirely in our court. We might not control the outcomes, but we always have a say in our efforts and attitudes. It's about embracing the challenges, big or small, with a heart full of courage and a mindset on growth. So, as we journey through today, let's anchor ourselves in Stoic wisdom and choose excellence in our actions, our thoughts, and our interactions. Let's make Marcus proud, not by being perfect, but by being persistently, consistently better, even in the tiniest of ways. After all, the excellence we choose today is the foundation of a life well lived tomorrow. And who knows, these small choices might just ripple outwards, inspiring excellence in those around us, creating a cycle of positivity and growth that transcends time, much like Stoicism itself. Choosing excellence is choosing to live stoically, my friends. It's choosing to be the master of our own ship, navigating through life's storms with a steady hand and a stoic heart. 2. Reflect daily. Reflection. It's like sitting down with a cup of coffee, or tea if that's your jam, at the end of a long day and having a heart-to-heart with your favorite person. But in this case, that favorite person is you. Stoicism, with its ancient wisdom, nudges us towards this daily practice of reflection, not as a luxury, but as a necessity. It's about turning the mirror inwards, examining our day, not just through the lens of what happened, but through the why and how of our reactions and decisions. The Stoics, with their profound understanding of human nature, knew that it's in the quiet moments of reflection that we find our strength and our flaws laid bare, ready to be understood and refined. Marcus Aurelius, in his personal writings, which we now treasure as meditations, shows us the power of self-reflection. He didn't write for an audience. He wrote to remind himself of the Stoic principles, to challenge his thoughts, actions, and to strive for a better version of himself each day. Now, translating that into our whirlwind of a life, daily reflection might seem like a tall order, but here's the Stoic twist. It doesn't have to be an hour-long session of deep philosophical thought. It can be as simple as spending a few quiet moments before bed, asking yourself, what went well today? What didn't? How did I respond to challenges? Did my actions align with my values? It's about acknowledging your victories, no matter how small, and learning from the missteps, without harsh judgment. Reflection, in the Stoic sense, is not about dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. It's about understanding the present, learning from it, and preparing ourselves to face tomorrow with a bit more wisdom and a bit more resilience. It's recognizing that while we can't control what happens to us, we can control how we respond, and that response, refined through daily reflection, is where our power lies. In a way, daily reflection is like tidying up your mental space. Just as you wouldn't let dishes pile up in the sink or laundry take over your room, don't let unexamined thoughts and emotions clutter your mind. Take the time to sort through them, learn what you can, and prepare to face a new day with a clear head and a stoic heart. So, as we wind down for the day, let's commit to this practice of reflection. It doesn't need fancy journals or perfect words. It just needs honesty, a bit of time, and a willingness to grow. As we reflect, we're not just looking back, we're also looking forward, armed with the Stoic wisdom of self-awareness and self-improvement. 3. Accept people as they are. All right, let's talk about something that's a bit of a tough cookie for most of us, accepting people just as they are. It's like trying to enjoy a symphony when someone's out of tune. Your first instinct might be to fix it, or maybe even to wish that out-of-tune instrument wasn't part of the orchestra at all. But here's where Stoicism, with its timeless wisdom, flips the script on us. Stoicism teaches us a pretty radical idea, that our peace of mind comes not from changing others, but from changing our perceptions of them. It's about recognizing that everyone, just like us, is fighting their own hard battle, one we might know nothing about. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic heavyweight, puts it simply: accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart. Now, I know what you're thinking. But what if they're really, really annoying? Here's the Stoic take. It's not about liking everyone or pretending their quirks don't get under your skin. It's about understanding that every person you meet is a chance to practice patience, kindness, and understanding. It's about seeing the diversity of human character not as a problem to be solved, but as a reality to be embraced. Accepting people as they are doesn't mean you lower your standards or let go of your values. Far from it. It means you choose to focus on what you can control: your reactions, your mindset, your actions. You can't control others, but you can control how you respond to them. This doesn't just apply to people who rub us the wrong way. It also applies to our loved ones. Sometimes the hardest people to accept are those closest to us, simply because we have the most expectations of them. Stoicism nudges us towards acceptance by reminding us of our shared humanity. Everyone has flaws, everyone makes mistakes, and everyone has room for growth, including us. By accepting others, we also learn to accept ourselves with all our imperfections and quirks. It's a two-way street that leads to a more compassionate, understanding world. So, the next time you find yourself gritting your teeth in frustration at someone's actions or words, take a deep breath. Remind yourself of the Stoic approach. See this as an opportunity to practice acceptance, to reflect on your reactions, and to choose a path of understanding and patience. Remember, changing the world starts with changing how we see and interact with those around us. In embracing Stoicism's call to accept people as they are, we're not just making our lives a little easier, we're also contributing to a kinder, more tolerant world. 4. Stop complaining. Now let's dive into a topic that's a bit like adding lemon to water. Some say it makes it better, but others just can't stand the sour taste, the art of not complaining. You see, in the grand tapestry of Stoicism, there's this vibrant thread that's all about embracing what comes our way with grace, rather than grumbling about it. It's kind of like learning to dance in the rain instead of moaning about the mud. The Stoic approach here is pretty straightforward, yet profoundly challenging. It's about seeing the cup not as half empty, not as half full, but just as it is. Marcus Aurelius, our Stoic guide, would probably say, external things are not the problem, it's your assessment of them, which you can erase right now. Imagine that, erasing our knee-jerk reactions to the inconveniences of life just like that. Complaining, as natural as it might seem, is essentially a refusal to accept what is. It's like standing in a downpour and yelling at the clouds to go away. Stoicism teaches us the futility of such actions. The rain won't stop because we're upset, and the traffic won't clear because we're late. What we can change, however, is our reaction to the rain, the traffic, or any other external circumstance. This isn't about suppressing our feelings or pretending that everything's fine when it's not. It's about shifting our focus from what's going wrong to what we can do right now. Can't do anything about the traffic? That's an opportunity to listen to an audiobook, practice deep breathing, or simply enjoy some quiet time. It's about transforming moments of frustration into opportunities for growth, learning, or just being. But how do you actually stop complaining? It starts with awareness. Catch yourself in the act. Notice the complaint as it's about to roll off your tongue, and pause. Ask yourself, is this really helping? Is there something productive I can do instead? Sometimes the answer will be no, and that's okay. The act of pausing and reflecting is a victory in itself, a step toward the Stoic ideal of living a life governed by reason and virtue. The beauty of this Stoic practice is that it's contagious. When you stop fueling the fire of complaints, you'll notice the people around you start to change their tune as well. It's like setting a new standard for interactions, one that's based on acceptance, action, and positivity. So the next time you find yourself on the brink of a complaint, take a moment to think of Marcus Aurelius, standing strong amidst the challenges of ruling an empire, finding peace in acceptance and action. 5. Focus on what truly matters. All right, let's get into something that's as essential as that morning cup of coffee or that first deep breath of fresh air you take stepping outside. Focusing on what truly matters. Now, this is where Stoicism shines like a beacon in the fog, guiding us through the clutter of our daily lives to find what's genuinely worth our time and energy. You see, Stoicism isn't just about bearing the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune with a grimace and a stiff upper lip. No, it's about discerning the difference between what's in our control and what's outside it, and then pouring our heart and soul into the former. It's like being the director of your own life movie, deciding which scenes make the cut and which are left on the editing room floor. The Stoics, especially our buddy Marcus Aurelius, were all about this. Marcus, despite being the most powerful man in the known world at the time, understood that his true power lay not in his empire, but in his ability to focus on his own actions, choices, and responses. He knew that life's externals, wealth, status, fame, were fleeting and ultimately beyond his control. What mattered was his character, his virtue, his ability to live according to nature and reason. That's the core of Stoicism. This laser focus on what truly matters, our capacity to live a good life, regardless of external circumstances. Now, how do we apply this ancient wisdom in the hustle and bustle of the 21st century? It starts with a simple yet profound question: is this essential? Before you commit your time, energy, or resources to something, ask yourself if it truly aligns with your values, contributes to your well-being, or helps you grow as a person. It's about being ruthless in cutting out the noise and clutter that don't serve your higher purpose. But here's the kicker: focusing on what truly matters isn't just about saying no to the things that don't add value to your life. It's also about saying a resounding yes to the things that do. It's about choosing to spend quality time with loved ones over mindlessly scrolling through social media. It's about choosing self-improvement and learning over binge-watching the latest series. It's about choosing actions and thoughts that build you up, not tear you down. And sure, it's not easy. The world is full of distractions vying for our attention, promising instant gratification, but leaving us feeling empty. The Stoic path, the path of focusing on what truly matters, requires discipline, self-reflection, and a good dose of courage. But the reward, living a life that's rich, meaningful, and aligned with your deepest values, is worth every effort. So, let's take a page out of the Stoic playbook and start focusing on what truly matters. Let's declutter our lives, not just our closets and drawers, but our minds and hearts as well. Let's invest our time and energy in what brings us joy, growth, and fulfillment. Remember, in the grand scheme of things, it's not the number of days in our life that counts, but the life in our days. Let's make them count, focusing on what truly matters, one Stoic choice at a time. 6. Practice gratitude and virtue. Now let's get cozy and chat about something that's as comforting as your favorite sweater on a chilly day. Practicing gratitude and virtue. This is where Stoicism doesn't just walk into the room, it lights it up. Stoicism, at its heart, isn't just about enduring hardship with a straight face. It's about finding joy and meaning in the fabric of everyday life, through gratitude and virtue. Imagine starting your day not by mourning the alarm clock's call, but by being genuinely thankful for another day. This isn't some Pollyanna-ish denial of life's hardships, but a Stoic recognition of the gift that is existence. The Stoics, with their profound understanding of life's fleeting nature, urge us to cherish each moment, each breath, as a precious opportunity. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, reminds us time and again to focus on the present, on the beauty and virtue that lie within our grasp. Practicing gratitude in a Stoic sense means recognizing and appreciating the value of what we have, rather than pining for what we lack. It's about seeing the richness in the simple things, a shared laugh, a beautiful sunset, the warmth of a well-worn book. Gratitude, then, becomes not just a reaction to receiving, but a constant state of being, a lens through which we view our world. And let's talk about virtue. In the Stoic playbook, Virtue isn't about grand gestures or public accolades. It's about the choices we make when no one's looking, the small acts of kindness, honesty, courage, and self-control that shape our character. Practicing virtue is about aligning our actions with our highest ideals, about being the best version of ourselves, not for show, but because it's the right thing to do. Now, how do we weave these threads of gratitude and virtue into the tapestry of our daily lives? It starts with intention. Begin each day with a moment of reflection. What are you grateful for? What virtues do you want to embody today? Carry these thoughts with you like a talisman, a reminder of who you are and who you aspire to be. But Stoicism also teaches us that theory without practice is like a tree without roots. So don't just think about gratitude and virtue. Live them. Express your appreciation to others, not just in words, but through actions. Show kindness, even when it's hard. Speak truth, even when it's easier to lie. Exercise self-control, even when temptation knocks. The beauty of practicing gratitude and virtue is that it's contagious. Your actions, however small, can inspire others, creating ripples of positivity that extend far beyond your immediate circle. It's like planting seeds in a garden you may never see, but knowing, deep in your Stoic heart, that you've contributed to something beautiful. So, as we journey through the hustle and bustle of life, let's not forget to pause, to look around, and to practice gratitude and virtue. Let's make them not just habits, but the very essence of our being. Remember, in the grand scheme of things, it's not what we have, but how we live that defines us. Let's live stoically, with hearts full of gratitude and lives rich in virtue. 7. Keep learning. Diving into our next heart-to-heart, let's explore a principle that's as vital as your morning brew or that first stretch after a long sit: continual learning. Stoicism, with its deep roots in wisdom and personal growth, champions this pursuit, not just as a hobby but as a way of life. It's about embracing the idea that no matter how much we know, there's always more to discover, more to understand, and more to apply to our journey through life. Consider for a moment the image of a Stoic philosopher, perhaps Seneca, or better yet, Marcus Aurelius himself. These were individuals at the pinnacle of power and knowledge in their time, yet they remained students of life until their last breath. They understood that the world is a vast classroom and life an endless curriculum. To the Stoic, learning isn't about accumulating facts to boast at dinner parties. It's about deepening our understanding of the world, ourselves, and how we can live in harmony with both. Now, how do we weave this Stoic principle of perpetual learning into the fabric of our daily lives? It starts with curiosity, that little spark within that whispers, "What if?" and "Why not?" It's about looking at the familiar and pondering what's beyond the surface, about stepping into the unknown with open arms and an open mind. But here's where Stoicism adds another layer. It's not just about learning anything and everything without direction. It's about aligning our quest for knowledge with our values and goals. It's about choosing to learn that which makes us better humans, more compassionate, more resilient, more understanding. It's Seneca reminding us that time discovers truth, and in our context, it's about giving time to that discovery process every day, bit by bit. In practical terms, keeping learning alive could mean starting your day with a podcast on philosophy, history, or science instead of scrolling through social media. It could mean dedicating a few hours each week to mastering a new skill, be it cooking, coding, or carpentry. It's about asking more questions, listening more than speaking, and when you do speak, sharing insights that uplift and enlighten. But Stoicism also teaches us humility in our pursuit of knowledge. It reminds us that learning isn't a ladder to superiority, but a path to wisdom. We're reminded to learn not to judge or to boast, but to grow and to help others grow along with us. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, often reflects on his own limitations and the lessons he learns from those around him, regardless of their status or station. So, let's make a pact, you and I, to keep learning at the heart of our journey. Let's be curious, humble and hungry for knowledge that enriches our lives and the lives of those around us. Let's remember that in the grand classroom of life, we're both students and teachers, always learning, always growing. In embracing this Stoic principle, we're not just accumulating knowledge, we're shaping a life of meaning, purpose, and joy. Let's keep learning, not because we must, but because we can, and because it's in this pursuit that we find ourselves, our path, and our peace. 8. Forgive yourself and others. Let's settle into something a bit more tender, something that touches the core of our shared human experience: forgiveness. In the grand, often challenging tapestry of life, forgiveness is that thread of grace that binds us, heals us, and propels us forward. Stoicism, with its profound insights into human nature, places a strong emphasis on the power of forgiveness, not just as an act of kindness towards others, but as a crucial step towards our own peace and liberation. Think of the Stoics, figures like Epictetus, Seneca, and Marcus Aurelius. These were not just philosophers pondering the world from ivory towers. They were people living in the thick of life's messiness, navigating personal betrayals, political upheaval, and the everyday frictions of human relationships. Yet they championed forgiveness. Why? Because they understood something essential. Holding on to anger and resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. It binds us to the very things we wish to escape. But here's where it gets interesting and a bit challenging. Stoicism doesn't just call us to forgive others, it urges us to forgive ourselves. And honestly, sometimes that's the harder task. We can be our own harshest critics, replaying our mistakes like a looped track in our minds, each time adding a layer of guilt and self-reproach. But ask yourself this: what does that serve? If Stoicism teaches us anything, it's the value of moving forward, of learning from the past, but not being anchored by it. So how do we practice this Stoic art of forgiveness in our day-to-day lives? Start with yourself. When you catch yourself in a spiral of self-criticism, pause. Take a breath. Ask yourself what a wise, compassionate friend would say. Chances are they'd remind you that everyone stumbles, that each misstep is a chance to grow, to choose a different path next time. Treat yourself with that same kindness and understanding. Remember, forgiveness is not about forgetting or condoning what happened. It's about allowing yourself to heal and move forward. Extending that forgiveness to others follows the same principle. It's recognizing that, like us, everyone is battling their own struggles, making decisions as best they can with the knowledge and resources they have at the moment. Forgiving someone doesn't mean you erase what happened or that you must welcome them back with open arms. It means you're choosing to release the weight of resentment for your own sake as much as theirs. Practicing forgiveness, both towards ourselves and others, is a deeply Stoic act. It embodies the Stoic ideals of wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. It requires wisdom to see the situation clearly, courage to confront our feelings, justice in granting ourselves and others the chance to move beyond our past actions, and temperance in moderating our responses. So let's lean into this practice of forgiveness. Let's weave it into the fabric of our lives, not as a one-time act, but as a continuous process, a way of being. It's in this space of forgiveness that we find freedom, not just for others, but for ourselves. It's here, in the lightness of letting go, that we can truly move forward, grounded in the present and open to the possibilities of tomorrow. Remember, in the vast expanse of life, forgiveness is a bridge to peace, a path to wisdom, and ultimately a gift we give ourselves. 9. Put your ideals into action. All right, let's roll up our sleeves and dive into something that's as crucial as that first cup of coffee in the morning: putting our ideals into action. It's one thing to talk a good game, to philosophize about virtue, wisdom, and living a good life. But Stoicism, it's not just about the talk, it's about the walk. It's about making our actions speak louder than our words, turning our ideals from beautiful concepts into living, breathing realities. The Stoics, our ancient friends, were pretty clear on this point. For them, philosophy wasn't an academic pursuit to be confined to books and debates. It was a way of life. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor-philosopher, didn't just muse about virtue from the comfort of his palace. He strived to embody those virtues in the midst of political intrigue, battlefield decisions, and the complexities of ruling an empire. He knew that the true test of one's character wasn't found in what we say, but in what we do. So, how do we bring this Stoic wisdom into the hustle and bustle of our own lives? It starts with clarity, knowing what our ideals are. Is it kindness, integrity, courage? Whatever your ideals, name them, own them. But here's the key: don't stop there. Each day gives us a fresh canvas to paint our ideals onto the world through our actions. It's choosing to be patient in the face of frustration, honest when a lie would be easier, and kind when indifference would require less of us. Putting our ideals into action means making choices that align with our values, even when they're the harder path. It's about showing up day after day, committed to being the best version of ourselves. It's doing the right thing, even when nobody's watching, even when there's no immediate reward. This is Stoicism in action, understanding that our character, our essence, is defined not by what happens to us, but by how we respond. But let's be real for a moment. This isn't easy. Life throws curveballs, temptations, and tests our resolve at every turn. The gap between knowing what's right and doing what's right can sometimes feel like a chasm. This is where the Stoic practice of reflection comes in handy. Reflect on your actions, celebrate when you live up to your ideals, and learn from the times you fall short. Remember, Stoicism isn't about perfection, it's about progress. And in this journey of putting our ideals into action, let's not forget the power of small steps. Change doesn't always come in grand gestures. Often it's the little acts of kindness, the moments of self-control, and the daily decisions to live with integrity that add up to a life well lived. So, as we go about our day, let's carry this Stoic challenge with us, to put our ideals into action, to make our life a testament to our values. Let's inspire those around us, not just with our words, but with our deeds. Because in the end, it's not what we say, but what we do that defines us. Let's make it count, one Stoic step at a time. 10. Restore your balance. Now let's ease into a topic that's as soothing as your favorite melody or the calm that comes after a deep breath: restoring your balance. In the whirlwind of life's demands, finding balance can feel like trying to stand steady on a tightrope. But here's where Stoicism, with its timeless wisdom, offers a guiding hand, reminding us that balance isn't about avoiding life's ups and downs, but navigating them with grace and equanimity. Stoicism teaches us that life is filled with contrasts: success and failure, joy and sorrow, peace and chaos. Like the seasons, these experiences come and go, each serving its purpose in the grand scheme of our existence. The Stoic approach to restoring balance isn't about resisting these natural cycles, but embracing them, understanding that growth often comes from the most challenging times. Imagine you're Marcus Aurelius, not just an emperor, but a man deeply acquainted with personal loss, political strife, and the burdens of leadership. Yet, he found a way to maintain his equilibrium amidst it all. How? By holding fast to the principle that while we cannot control the world around us, we can control our responses to it. It's this inner citadel, this fortress of calm and reason, that allows us to restore our balance, no matter how fiercely the storms rage outside. Restoring balance, then, starts with self-awareness. It's about taking a step back and observing our lives with a Stoic lens, recognizing what's within our power and what lies beyond it. It's about distinguishing between our efforts and the outcomes, understanding that we are responsible for the former, not the latter. This doesn't mean we become passive or indifferent. On the contrary, it means we engage fully with life, but with an inner detachment from the things we cannot control. Balance also involves embracing moderation. In a world that often celebrates excess, more work, more possessions, more experiences, Stoicism calls us to find the golden mean. It's about enjoying life's pleasures without becoming enslaved by them, facing life's pains without being overwhelmed. This moderation isn't a restriction, but a liberation, freeing us from the extremes that disrupt our balance. But what does restoring balance look like in practical terms? It's as simple and as complex as making time for what nourishes your soul amidst the hustle. It's about finding moments of stillness in the day for reflection, for nature, for art, or whatever it is that brings you back to your center. It's choosing to respond to life's challenges, not with frustration or despair, but with reasoned action and a serene heart. And when we inevitably lose our balance, as we all do, it's about forgiving ourselves, learning from the experience, and stepping back onto the tightrope with a bit more wisdom and grace. Remember, restoring balance isn't a one-time achievement, but a continuous process, a dance with life where sometimes we lead, sometimes we follow, but always we learn. So, as we move forward, let's carry this Stoic reminder with us that balance isn't found by escaping the world's tumult, but by finding our calm within it. Let's navigate life's contrasts with a Stoic heart, embracing each moment as an opportunity to live more fully, more wisely, and more in tune with the harmony of existence. As we draw this journey to a close, remember that the essence of Stoicism isn't found in the pages of ancient texts, but in the lived experiences of each day. It's in the moments of challenge and triumph, in the quiet whispers of our hearts, and in the choices that shape our destiny. This philosophy, timeless and profound, offers not just a way of thinking, but a way of living, a beacon of light guiding us toward wisdom, virtue, and inner peace. So, as you step forward into the tapestry of your life, carry with you the Stoic virtues of courage, justice, temperance, and wisdom. Let them be your compass, your anchor, and your guiding star. And if this conversation has sparked a flame within you, if you're yearning to dive deeper into the Stoic wisdom that can transform your life, I invite you to explore our playlist on the screen. Let each video be a step on your path to living a more balanced, purposeful, and fulfilling life. Together, let's walk the Stoic path, not just as learners, but as doers, shaping a world rich in understanding, compassion, and resilience. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Until next time, keep seeking, keep growing, and keep living your best Stoic life.